Resuming debate, the honourable member for Mississauga-Streetsville.
Good afternoon. Mr. Speaker, this is the first time that I'm rising in this honourable House. I would like to take the opportunity to thank all of the residents of Mississauga-Streetsville for electing me to be their voice here in Ottawa. I would also like to thank my family, past and present, for their unwavering support. Over the last 2 years, I was able to speak with thousands of residents, and more importantly, I had the opportunity to listen to their concerns, the concerns that were addressed in the speech from the throne. The riding of Mississauga-Streetsville is home to various areas: Lisgar, Levi Creek, Meadowvale, and the quaint areas of Streetsville and Old Meadowvale Village. And it is with great pride that I can stand here before you saying that I grew up in Streetsville, and I am now the Member of Parliament. However, this middle-class riding has faced a number of challenges in the past. I've spoken with single parents that find it difficult to provide for their children. Having volunteered at both the Eden and Save Up food banks, I've seen families struggling day to day to make their ends meet. Mr. Speaker, in a country as wealthy as Canada, every child deserves to have the access to the essentials of life. And this is why it gives me great pride to have seen and heard in the speech from the throne that our commitment to the Canada Child Benefit will raise 315,000 children out of poverty. We are also committed to creating more opportunities for young Canadians. One of the biggest concerns that parents have in the riding of Mississauga-Streetsville is that their children will not have the same opportunities that they did. And it is imperative that future generations are educated in order to ensure the continued prosperity of our great nation. Now, in addition to hearing the concerns of our residents, I've also consulted with the Mayor of Mississauga, City Councillors, and our provincial counterparts. In order for the riding to thrive, the municipality requires dedicated and predictable funding in infrastructure, with an emphasis on transit investments. If you live in my riding and work in downtown Toronto, you can barely make it back for dinner. Mr. Speaker, on July 6th in 2013, we all watched in horror the tragic events of Lac-Mégantic's derailment. Residents of Mississauga-Streetsville were shocked to hear that that very train passed through our backyards and our shopping centers. This particular issue was once again brought to the forefront, as a similar train caught fire during the campaign. That train was situated between shopping centers, a child daycare, and the backyards of some residents. Another concern in regards to infrastructure is that of affordable housing. Social and affordable housing currently has a 7 to 10 year wait time in Mississauga. Our riding also has multiple co-op housing units. My colleagues and I visited one of those co-ops and were surprised to learn that they only required a mere $50,000 in government assistance to keep a lot of those people from being kicked out onto the street. This is why our infrastructure investment of $125 billion isn't just an investment in infrastructure, but an investment in Canadian families. Ultimately, we need a federal government that respects municipalities. During this previous election, I was contacted by various groups and individuals of all parties to discuss electoral reform. The issue often being that residents felt their vote could potentially be wasted. Mr. Speaker, when our party announced that 2015 would be the last election under the first past the post voting system, it was an announcement that our government is going to be one that listens to the concerns of citizens, is a government that has progressive views, and a government that is truly about real change. Now, some of my fondest memories of growing up in the riding involve our parks and trails. Our riding has a magnitude of green spaces, conservation lands, bike paths, ponds, and a lake, and of course the Credit River. I often take my cousins along with me to tree planting events, so not only that they can enjoy these spaces, but they can understand how we need to preserve them. This government has committed to preserving the environment and will take on climate change. As mentioned in the speech from the throne, we will make decisions that are informed by scientific evidence. Our government will introduce new environmental assessment processes. But most importantly, our government understands that a clean environment and a strong economy go hand in hand. Mr. Speaker, the government's agenda also reflects that Canada's strength is its diversity. Well, Mr. Speaker, there is no greater testament to this than me standing here before you today. Canada truly is the land of opportunity. My dad moved here from India to give his family a better life. From odd jobs to driving a taxi, saving and eventually growing his own small business, Canada rewarded him for all of his hard work and ambition. My younger brother is an emergency room doctor and saves lives every day. I'm a lawyer and small business owner and have the honor of being a member of Parliament. Only in Canada is that possible. As I just mentioned, Mr. Speaker, I am a lawyer, and I was very fortunate in having the opportunity to attend law school in London, England. One of the benefits of studying abroad is easily traveling to neighboring countries. Back then, when people found out that I was a Canadian, they greeted me with warmth and mentioned how Canada is so well known for being a peacekeeping nation. However, that sentiment has been lost for many years now. Our government will contribute to greater peace throughout the world and renew our commitment to United Nations peacekeeping operations. Inevitably, this will restore our reputation on the world stage as those that stand up against intolerance and keep the peace. Here at home, many of my constituents have told me they moved from their country of origin because of how safe Canada is. Naturally, this is ideal to grow a family. Recognizing this, the government will continue to work to keep all Canadians safe. Now, in concluding my address, Mr. Speaker, I would again like to thank all of the constituents for electing me the member of Mississauga-Streetsville. This riding of Mississauga-Streetsville actually mirrors that of Canada. It's full of history, commerce, is ethnically diverse, home to small villages within a large city, and I couldn't be prouder to call it home. And I know that our mandate will serve the people of this riding well. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Questions and